What's going on YouTube? Today we're going to look at I don't know why you're clapping. We're going to look at a 2012 Honda Foreman 500 ES. So it's the electric shift, no power steering. We're going to take a look at a couple of lines. We're going to take a look at the coolant line, and we're also going to take a look at what's called the breather hose. The reason I have to replace these, a couple of rodents got to mine, chewed up the wiring, or not the wiring, the tubing on there, and so we need to replace them. I heard a rumor that these lines, these rubber hoses, are made from recycled material, and sometimes they have like peanut oil and stuff in it, and that's why the mice actually really like it, and they like to chew them up. But another note I want to point out is that I am not a mechanic, not a licensed mechanic. I do fortunately work at a dealership, and my technicians there are very intelligent, know a lot more than me, so they kind of helped me go through this and kind of taught me what I need to do and how to properly do this. But personally, I am not a licensed mechanic. Just know some really good and very smart people.
Alright guys, so I got the quad pretty much stripped down here. I actually started this project last night. I'm about 3/4 of the way through, but it was dark last night, couldn't make any videos of this. So first thing you're going to need to do, remove the seat, remove the skid plate here, and then there's a side covering plate you want to remove as well. And then this piece right here, I just unscrewed it so it'd be easier to get to stuff. But take all that stuff off, take it apart, lay it down. So the first two things I want to talk about on the back end here, and you're going to be really annoyed by this thing because this thing just falls on your head all the time. But there's two tubes. So the first one is going to the drum brake on the right hand side or the passenger side, and then the other one is coming from the shaft here. And these tubes, they run, you can see that one with the blue stripe right there, this one right here, they run all the way up through the machine. They run through here, and then they run up into the fuel tank. Not actually into the fuel tank, just right up over it. And the reason they have those breather hoses there in the first place is because this stuff gets really hot, and it needs to evaporate, or not evaporate, displace that heat. And they put these tubes here and run them all the way up to the highest point, because if there was just an opening, if that was just open right there, then water would get inside of it. If you're in water or mud and there was just an opening, it'd get in there. Here you can see that's what the mice did to my last ones. That's what they all looked like. So took them apart, replaced them. And then the last thing we're going to look at is the coolant hose, which runs from this reservoir, which you can see is pretty much empty, and runs once again all the way up through the machine up there. Alright guys, so as you can see, I've already replaced mine. One thing I did find really helpful is that any of the pieces from the old hoses that were on there, I just left on there, and that way I could trace it right back up the same route, up the same line, so I knew it was in a good spot. They're really easy to replace. With the coolant line, which I'm about halfway done, with the coolant line, what I did, because it goes through this whole mess of stuff right through there, is I actually took the new coolant line, which is right there, that black one right there, and I just took a little bread tie and tied it to the old one, and then just pulled it through. We got to get it up into through this, up into the actual radiator up there. Alright guys, so on the front of the machine, which can't really be an ATV without a bungee cord across the top, but on the front of the machine, right here, I already started to loosen up this bolt just to Phillips. Make sure you don't lose that, put it somewhere safe. Right underneath here, guys, is where the coolant hose ends. That is your radiator, that's your radiator cap. So this is still the old hose, so you can see there's a little clip on there. And we're gonna run, let's see if we can get down in there. We're gonna run this new tube right up through here by pulling through using the old one. As you can see, we've got the new tube attached to the old tube, ran all the way up. I'm telling you guys, that trick is, I don't even know how I thought about that, but that makes it way easier running this tube through all this plastic. As you can see, it comes down in a bunch of different ways, comes down through there. You can't even see down where it actually goes through. So just attaching it to that old tube and pulling it up, man, that was simple. We're gonna get this new tube attached on here and put some coolant in it, fire it up, see how she's running. Alrighty, got the new hose ran in there. That new clip, I'll tell you what, that clip is not easy, kind of a pain actually. So we're gonna add some coolant into the reservoir back here, right there. It's pretty much empty. And using engine ice here. So, also I realized that I did not have a clean funnel, that I only had ones with oil and chainsaw bar, oil and all that kind of stuff. So I had to make my own little funnel, just a little solo cup, set it over the top there, pour it in there. Should work out fine. Alrighty guys, we got it back on. It's rocking and rolling. Good. You're gonna see that I added a little bit more than a full line, and that is because the new tube that I just replaced doesn't have any coolant on it or in it. So give a little extra just so I can run through that line into the radiator. But everything worked out well, pretty easy guys. All this stuff was pretty cheap. I think the most expensive part was the new coolant. But I think you're talking about $40, maybe even less, $30. Get everything, both of those breather tubes and the coolant line replaced. So until next time.